Good morning, everybody. This is day 5 of the remote learning packet, and now we are working on the text questions. Now, before you begin this, I would go back and I would reread the story or listen to me reading the story, or if you are in my Google Classroom, you have an audiobook that is also uploaded to the Google Classroom. So, I would do one of those 3 things first before I started to try and tackle the text questions. All right, the directions here say answer each question in complete sentences. You will need to look back in the story to find your answer and to provide text evidence. Steal the quote, humans, okay? So that is what text evidence means. Steal the quote. All right, so I am not giving you the answer, but what I am going to do is I'm going to remind you to please restate. So, number 1, give one example of how the Beatles are funny. Now, what I wrote was, one example of the Beatles being funny is, and then I left a space, and notice I am putting a period there at the end of my sentences. Capital at the beginning, period at the end, and yes, I am restating. All right? Question number 2. How did Beatlemania affect the Fab Four? Give 2 examples. So the way I structured this answer was Beatlemania affected, remember affected is the verb form, effected is the noun form. So Beatlemania affected the Fab Four in 2 ways. Number 1, and then I put a semicolon, and then number 2, and then a period at the end. I'm numbering them to remind myself that I need 2 examples of how Beatlemania affected the Beatles. All right, number 3. After reading the Beatles' answers to interviewers' questions, which Beatle would you most like to meet and why? Notice I circled why. As soon as you see the question why, you know there is going to be a because in here. All right, so the restate here is, after reading the interviews, the Beatle I would most like to meet is blank because. There is no right or wrong answer here. It is an opinion question. The only thing that you need to do is support your answer. Tell me why you would want to meet John or Paul or George or Ringo. All right? So who would you most like to meet and why? All right? So you have to answer this because. Now, I'm taking up huge amounts of space. You know how big my handwriting is. So if I needed to, I would put this on another piece of paper, or I would open up a Google Doc and then do it that way. But that is up to you. Most of you, your handwriting is much smaller than mine, so you should be okay. Number 4, the author makes a claim that the Beatles were a fabulous band. Support the claim with 2 facts from the text. Again, I underlined the words 2 facts. You need 2 or you're not answering the question correctly. 2 facts from the text that support the claim the Beatles were a fabulous band are, and I gave a huge space here, put a comma, and then I'm going to put my period at the end. So capital, period, comma here. Remember, you need 2 facts from the text for this. Before I would tackle these questions again, I would go back, reread the story, listen to me read it, or listen to the audiobook. I would do one of those things before I tried to tackle any of these questions. Because remember, you're going to need to add in where you found it in the text. All right, so just be careful. I know they don't give you a ton of space here, but try to put something in there from the text. Quotes, or page number, something, okay? So good luck, and if you have any questions, remember to get to me on the stream. All right? Have a good day, guys.